Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have a stranger back. You might have noticed off the last couple of vlogs, Pauline has not been with me. She was away down in the south of England having a party, having a nice old time. But she's back, and while she was away I managed to get 2 vlogs filmed, so that's why it feels like she's been gone forever. But today we are in Fassfern, on the side of Loch Eel, and we are going up the side of the river, going into Glenloy, not Glengloy, Glenloy. I'm not sure what we're going to find. I'm really not. But there's one thing I'm hoping for, is waterfalls. And I know right now isn't the best time to be catching waterfalls, but it's overcast, so it's not going to have any harsh light, and autumn is coming. So it is, genuinely is. So it's best to start getting your locations planned out, scoped out, and work out what you're going to capture. But I've got a feeling we're walking past a waterfall that's just down there. Let's go down and see what we can find, eh? So the first thing I'm going to do, because I've never been here before, so I have no idea what to expect, get my camera out and have a little look around. But as soon as I arrived here, I already had a couple of ideas in mind. And it's nice when you get somewhere and you're like, oh, this, oh, what about that? Oh, what about this? It's nice when that happens. Ah, the sun's coming out. Okay, overcast no more. We are going to get some direct light. That might be a winner, it might also not be. So the first thing I noticed when I came down here were these tree roots. And what I think is I've got this nice shelf of leaves coming over this way. I've got these tree roots here, the rocks, nice little bubbles on the water surface. The water flow is my subject in the background. It's quite bright, but I think that's manageable, with maybe a 2-shot exposure, one for here and one for over there. But I think these leading in, branch cover in the sky, waterfall in the background, might be a nice shot. Let's have a little look. Okay, so I have, as you can probably tell, done quite a bit here. I flipped my tripod over and attached my camera underneath, and that is so I can get nice and close to these roots. But the funny thing is, I'm meant to be the photographer here, but if it hadn't been for Pauline, I would never have flipped this over. I'd have just got irritated, and it's actually quite an easy process to do. So anyway, so I've got it all framed up, and there's a couple of things that are a bit annoying. So I've had to go to my ultra wide angle, which is a 15 to 30 mil on a full frame. So it's got a bulbous lens. To be able to get down to 15, it has to have a bulbous lens on the front. Or at least Tamron decided it had to have a bulbous lens on the front, which means that I can't easily attach filters. So what's happening is I'm getting a big sheen on the water surface, which is kind of ruining my shot. So I'm thinking I might do one or two things. I might capture the bank and the trees above in one shot, really underexpose that water to be able to try and reduce that sheen off the surface. But first of all, I'm going to capture these roots. And the way I'm going to capture these roots is a focus stack. Now, last week's video, I did focus stacking, okay? So I'm not going to talk through what I'm doing. I'm just going to capture it. So imagine these roots all covered in beech leaves, the waterfall in the background, nice long exposure, meandering water, a little bit of orange in the background, orange in the foreground, just a beautiful scene, all coming to life with the power of autumn. I think it's still going to be a nice shot, but it's not going to be the same shot it's going to be. Okay, and there we are, first shot captured. Let's have a little look at it, shall we? So I think I've discovered the second shot of today. I already know what the third shot is, that's why I stumbled. It's right back down at the beginning. And this river does continue on. But the second shot is showing that small can be mighty. But yesterday we went and did the South Shield Ridge on Loch Shield, which involves not flexing too hard, but 7 Munros. So Pauline has got a bit of a sore leg, so I'm going to head off over this way on my own, and she's going to sit and chill and enjoy the view, enjoy the sound of the water. But then we're going to go and get that shot. So let's say goodbye to Pauline. We'll see her soon, and let's go and get this image. Small can be mighty. It's not all about finding the biggest waterfall. So I've got this section of water here, and I'm thinking I'm going to frame this bottom right. That's going to lead round into this little channel that leads just underneath this cliff here, the little reeds coming down. Imagine if it was raining really heavy, or these were like a waterfall. That would be amazing. But I have got cascading ivy coming down. What I'm thinking is maybe like this, trying to crop out as much of this light bleeding through as possible, because trying to have this exposed correctly and this almost impossible. So I need to be at the perfect height to be able to get the waterfall down here and that section of water up there. That's going to be the hardest part. So at the moment the shot's working quite well, and I'm getting a bit of a jungle vibe. What I wish I didn't have in that scene was these 2 little beech trees. They are absolutely ruining the scene. But I'm going to show you what I've got. So I've got this beautiful section of water coming up this way. I've made sure that I've kept it high enough, so I've still got these little bit of water coming around this way. I've got these little beech trees coming through here, which don't look terrible, but I think behind looks better. I've still made sure I've kept this moss roof and these danglies coming down. I've got a little bit of that palm coming through as well. I think it's a nice shot. It isn't quite spectacular, but I think the composition, everything works together really quite well. And I'm going to go off my histogram for this. So I'm going to push it as far as my histogram says I can. I'm going to focus on the back wall. So on ISO 64, f16, that gives me a 1.6 second exposure, which might be perfect. And it's just like a rainforest. Now imagine this in autumn, again, with the beech leaves from above on the rocks. This little scene creating drama, beautiful. Maybe the water level slightly lower, so I can be out here shooting more of these steps leading up into that final scene in the background. The palm leaves still looking really green against the orange light, possibly even photographing the oak tree above. It'll be beautiful. But I think for this shot, I've captured it. Now let's go and have a little look at the last shot of today. Found her. She was up here, hiding from the midge.
It wasn't midge, it was mosquito, like proper big things.
The midges in Scotland, and not just midges. They are monsters.
They were mutated meat midges then. Like genuinely,
But
they were like full-size mosquitoes.
I got the shot, and it looks like a bit of a jungle scene. And I think when autumn comes around, that little scene there, mwah. So planning for autumn is essential, because it never lasts as long as you hope. Never does. Now,
it comes on as fast as you think as well.
No, you start seeing the colour in the trees, like, oh, it's coming. 2 weeks later.
Still not there.
Not there. And then it's at its prime and it's gone. You get like 1 week of prime autumn. You hope. Anyway, on to the third and final shot for today. My initial idea, Pauline thinks I'm going to go for a long exposure. There is a good chance of that. And something that I'm actually quite happy about, that I was a bit concerned about, that is the trees are really thick above the bridge. I thought I was going to have loads of light bleeding through, so I'd have loads of overexposed parts. But what I really like is look at the zebra patterns in the water underneath. Aren't they amazing? And with a polarizer, I'll be able to cut this glare out and I'll have a nice line of bubbles leading forwards. So that is idea number one. Is the second idea. Again, using the waterfall as the light that's going to draw your eye in, and then coming back over here and using these roots as an interesting funky leading line to guide your eye through into that subject at the back. Or what I might do is capture them both. What do you think? 4 shots in a vlog? Or is that being greedy? No. 4 shots in the vlog it is. So before, what I did when I had a scene like this is I did a focus stack. This time I'm not. And the reason why is I want that immediate foreground to be out of focus. There's not as much detail in this tree. So what I'm tending to get is just nice and green contrast with the browns, and that's what I want. I don't necessarily want the moss to be like moss in your face. I want it to be like nice green lines with a bit of dodging and burning, creating shadows and depth within the scene. The background is going to be nice and bright, but I'm going to make sure that I've captured this for light conditions rather than focus stack. So the background is bright, I've focused it, and this is going to be my initial shot. And what I really like about this initial shot is how I've got a bright part behind them trees coming round, curving you around. So you're imagining there's something around that corner that's going to bring you round and through. Now again, imagine this in autumn, when this huge beech tree above me is dropping its bright orange fresh leaves all over the scene. It's going to look incredible. So I've got the waterfall, the light source behind, all the way through to these nice brown leaves in the foreground. Edited together, I think this is going to be a nice shot. But again, this isn't the shot at its best. In autumn, with some nice morning light coming through them branches, hitting this wall, this is going to come together. Plan, plan, plan. Now, let's go and get that last shot, eh? Here we are at the last shot of today. You guys are a lucky bunch today. First of all, you got Pauline back and you got me, and I'm capturing 4 shots. Now what I want to do is I want to get nice and close to that water so that I can catch as much of this zebra pattern as possible. And I'm liking the way the river moves here. It like bends round, creates like a nice S shape. I've got my 24-70 on, so I've made sure I've got my polarizer on. Okay, so if you've never been sure on how much a polarizer can affect the scene, look at this. Polarizer on, polarizer off. Look at that. And polarizer back on again. It's night and day how much it affects that scene. But with the polarizer on, I'm going to capture the bridge. I'm going to capture this in a 1-shot exposure because I haven't got huge amounts of dynamic range. Just one for the whole thing and hopefully pretty picture. But again, imagine this in full autumn. But I hope you've enjoyed the vlog this week. Ladies and gentlemen, it's nice to have Pauline back. I'll pan round to her in a second. But we captured 4 different images. And the point of this vlog was to scout a location for autumn. And I think this place is going to be good in autumn. So, fingers crossed, we remember to come back. And peace out from me. Have a lovely week. Bye!